Hello, I'm JJ, and this is going to be my first ever Enlisted video. Now, I thought I'd start off with a tutorial because I've been playing this game a while and I've kind of noticed a lot of people still don't understand, or there isn't a lot more newer players to the game with the whole merge having happened, and more importantly, the Steam release, which happened a few weeks ago. Um, now obviously there is a battle rating, um, and it can be very hard to navigate for new players, but it comes basically down to when you're looking for a weapon, it'll say BR, um, and say you want to be, if you're a newer player, you want to be in BR 1 and 2. You don't want to be any higher than that. So anything with a BR 1 or BR 2 weapon rating, you're fine with, right? If you say put one bit of equipment, right? So you see here, battle rating 2, everything on here is battle rating 2. If I change one thing, right, to battle rating 3, let's say that, instantly I will be put against tier 5 players, tier 4 and 5, right? Now, it's alright being tier 2 going up against tier 3, you can at least handle yourself, but say you bring a tier 2 tank into a tier 5 lobby, it's like throwing a stone off a concrete wall. You're going to be doing absolutely fuck all to it. Um, you'll be lucky. Now, there are some tanks which are tier 2 which can handle being in a tier 5 lobby. Um, one which I recommend, which I've tested on the shooting range and I reckon can handle being in a tier 5 lobby, is the Stug. Granted, it's got no fucking armor. Anything in tier 5 will one tap you, but it's got special rounds which can pen even the IS-2. Like, you can kill IS-2s with it, you can kill Persians, um, because it's got these like special Hesh rounds, I think. I can't remember. Um, but it is a very good tank. Another one, I know these are both premium vehicles, but the Dickers Max, which I have here. Um, Granted, it is tier 3, but 50 armor, 105mm gun. Like, if you get up tiered, you're fine. This thing can easily kill high tier tanks. You get down tiered, you've got a decent amount of armor. Granted, it's open top, so you kind of want to be sitting at the back with it, but still. Um, but yeah, just for newer players, I'd recommend don't up tier yourself. Avoid tier 3. Um, if I was you, don't bother using tier 3 equipment until you have some tier 4 equipment. I'd say tier 4 is probably your best bet. Um, because, let's be honest, um, stuff like this, granted it's got 75mm, it'll probably kill stuff like an IS-2, but you're not really gonna do much. You've got to hit its side on. You're not penning the frontal armor. Like, my biggest pet peeve is when people are in a tier 5 lobby and they are rocking, say, um, for example, the Panzer III. Like, or I've seen people bring in, where is it? The Tassi. Now, Japan suffers enough as it is. If you're bringing this into a tier 5 lobby, like, yeah, you're not benefiting the team at all. This thing, zero armor, everything can kill it. And Japan suffers enough. If I was you, for most newer players, I would kind of, if you're going to play Japan, play tier 2, maybe tier 3. Tier 3, you run the risk of being up tiered, but until they add rocket launchers, I kind of would avoid high tier Japan. I know that's kind of not what most people want to hear, and it kind of divides a little bit of player base, but unfortunately Japan suffers. I have played it with one of my friends. One of my friends mains Japan, and it is brutal. It is brutal trying to play Japan in high tier. It's doable. You can win, but grey zone tanks are an issue for Japan because you have no equipment, absolutely none. This is actually worse than this, and this doesn't even have a sight. That somehow has better armor penetration than that. And that has a sight. That is more easier to aim with and more accurate. While this, you can't really aim with it, but it is a lot better, but it's useless against high tier. Absolutely useless. You can maybe kill a tier 3 tank if you're lucky. You've got to hit the right place. Like, it can kill low tier Shermans if you're lucky, but you ain't doing anything against a Persian. Like, yeah. So until they add the engineer anti-tank guns, I would probably avoid Japan. Um, yeah. Also, the main thing that I have an issue with when I go into any game, right, is no one seems to bring any engineers. Engineers, you can do a whole lot with them, but the main thing is building rally points, right? Rally points can make or break a game. Now, I was on about Japan earlier being one of the hardest nations to play. There are times where me and my friends have only won a game because of rally points, because the enemy team doesn't place any, right? Or we've had so many rally points that we can just rush the objective, right? We haven't had to worry about tanks, we just rush the objective. Rally points are the most important thing, because when you then die, you can get quicker into the battle, like, straight away. You kind of want to try and defend your rally points so they're not, like, easy to shoot, so obviously put some sandbags. You can't break it from there. Granted, you can break it from here, but that's where you just say, you know, turn. Put some more sandbags there. Sandbags, well, rally points don't have that much health, but the sandbags will possibly save it from maybe one explosion. Like, if you say the enemy team throws an explosive pack here, you know, the sandbags will get destroyed before the rally. There are times where the rally will still get destroyed, but it's got higher chance of survival. You can also place anti-personnel mines on your rally as a defensive option. Equally, people can do it, you know, to counter your rally. Say there's a good way to get free kills. You just place an anti-personnel mine on an enemy rally point, and when they spawn in, boom, they get blown up. Also, let's change squad real quick to, I don't have an engineer on here, bear with me. There are engineers that can contribute a lot more to the team. You will find a lot in high tier lobbies that aircraft can be an issue. Hopefully in the future they will add better anti-air guns, but currently in current Enlisted, you're fine in tier 2, at least on console. I've noticed you're fine in tier 2, but tier 5, kind of, there's not much anti-air capabilities. But these here, you can very quickly take out tier 2 planes with these. Like, they do quite a bit of damage with the most recent buff, where there's no overheating of the anti-air guns. They're so much better. And they've got tracers. I don't know about PC. I know on console they do. I think they do on PC. You get like a general line of sight of like where the aircraft will be moving to. But yeah, anti-aircraft guns come in so handy. Same with, hold up, anti-tank guns. If you're on tier 2, these are very helpful at times, taking out enemy tanks. Granted, in tier 5, these are useless currently, because they are bringing out an update soon, hopefully in the next few weeks, where engineer guns, oh, I know, I say next few weeks, could be a few months, they are working on a lot of things currently, but engineer guns can be very helpful for taking out tanks. They will be adding tier 5 engineers, I say engineers, anti-tank guns. They'll be doing like a battle rating on them because currently the anti-tank guns aren't very useful against high-tier tanks. Let's see if I can demonstrate it without having to spend ages driving. For example, if I shoot that, it's just... Okay, wrong tank then. Say if I shot the IS-2, which is all the way in the back over there somewhere, if I shot that with an anti-tank gun, it's just going to ricochet it off. It's just going to bounce off, do absolutely nothing. A helpful tip when using anti-tank guns, if you bring one into a high tier lobby, tracks, hit barrel. If you disable the enemy's tracks, they can't move, gives your team the chance to essentially take them out. Or disable one track, they can't go anywhere, you just throw an explosive pack, and boom. Easy kill. Another technique for explosive packs, count to 6, and then throw, and then it should basically instantly explode. Granted, that was a bad example, tank didn't blow up, but still. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another bad example, but you get the point. TNT comes in handy. Another thing is anti-tank mines. Always make sure, granted, I know it's a lot of playstyle, you can run Molotovs, but with Molotovs you have to hit the engine of the tank, and even then you're only overheating it. But my preference is explosive packs on basically every single unit. And then you either want an anti-tank mine or a TNT charge. Anti-tank mine, you can just place it in like high traffic areas, places you know a tank's gonna be, and just like forget about it. And they do a lot of damage. They have a huge splash radius. Granted, that was a bad example. Hold on. Let's see if I can just place that like that. See? You can basically one-tap any tank with an anti-tank mine, yeah. So, also Panzerfaust. So, as I said before, the tier, the first Panzerfaust you get is like tier 3, which, granted, it's very good against low-tier tanks, but as you get into like higher tier lobbies, let's see, there's the IS-2 over there. I think that's a jumbo. If I shot the jumbo with this, I fucking miss. You do nothing. Oh, that's not a jumbo. That's definitely not a jumbo. Let's just test with the IS-2. Watch me just fucking one-tap it, hit the ammo compartment, completely defeat the point. Yeah, Panzerfaust isn't the worst, but there are stuff like Sturm Pistol, which do absolutely nothing. I could try and show you with the Japanese tanks how useless the anti-tank weaponry is. But yeah. Also, upgrades. So, this is what every person's fin will look like. So, this area here is where you can upgrade your engineers. So you can put perks. I'll explain perks in a bit, and also where you upgrade your guns. Also, this is how you say unlock stuff like the anti-aircraft guns and the anti-tank guns, or how you get more units. So whenever you get a perk point, there's like an XP bar here. The more you play, the better. If I was you, the first points I would go into is these, the XP, because then it means you'll level up quicker. Because when you only have when you first start now and you'll say here, you get almost no XP for a match. So you want to aim for these. This way you can level up quicker. So get those out the way, those 4. That way you get 100% XP for your battles, and then go into here where you can then add more units, add a machine gunner, or I would say go along and then pick up that machine gunner, because then you can add more kills. It depends on your playstyle, because some people might just want to sit back and snipe. But if your team is struggling to capture a point, please, for the love of God, don't sit at the back of the map sniping. Please, push up, try and help your team capture. Or if you see your team is capping a point, move up, help them, assist them. Don't sit back sniping, right? Because maybe you pick 1 or 2 people off out of an entire 5-man squad. You're better off pushing up, helping your team capture, moving forward. Okay. Yeah. So obviously you can unlock like so. There are times where you can only pick 1 of these, but then changing soldiers, right? So this is where you go to like switch your soldiers out. Say I could put like an engineer in here or whatever, and then you've got stuff like here. If you upgrade these help with like the performance of said weapon. This makes them cheaper. This makes them worth more if you want to sell them. So stuff like all this is 5-star. Hold up. So if you do those upgrades, you can say then put this. If I wanted to do the MP38, I would then click on my weapon, go to upgrade. Granted, I've not researched it, but you would then do the upgrade from there. So say here, it does cost silver to do. Granted, I know the silver economy is a struggle at the moment. It will get better. They are working on it. But I wouldn't waste too much on some of these low tier weapons. I know for Germany, I would definitely recommend doing the MP40. That is an amazing gun for tier 2. Like, you can still do pretty well with it in tier 5, but for a tier 2 gun, it is amazing. Like, same with the FNAB 43, another amazing gun. Yeah. There's some amazing guns for Germany. I haven't really played on any other nation, so I can't really give too much of an insight. I know where is it? I know that is amazing, has almost no recall for Russia, but I couldn't tell you about anything else from here. Oh, mortars. Germany and Russia have the most anti-tank capabilities, right, of any nation. So stuff like, I know people do complain a lot about grey zoning. Mortars, these like tier 5 mortars are the solution to grey zone tanks. Granted, if they add some to America and Japan, that will completely eradicate the need for anything for like people grey zoning. Like, you can literally count anyone grey zoning with these. You just get one person to mark, or you just quickly mark, and you can just snipe from a distance with the mortars. It gives you a range, and they are a one tap. You can one tap any tank with the mortar. I'll demonstrate it. Bear with me. Practice. Boom. Yeah, so you can one-tap IS-2s, Persians, you name it, with the mortars. Like, they are insane. But it's only for the tier 5 mortars. The other mortars are pretty much useless. I have tried them on low tier tanks. Open top tanks, maybe you can kill someone inside, but yeah, they're useless against any other tank. Don't know about Japanese tanks, because Japanese tanks have no armor. I haven't had a chance to test. But yeah. Hold on, let's just get into a position where I can see that IS-2. Unfortunately, yes, tanks do move. But if someone's just sat the back grey zone in, you can get an easy, and I mean an easy kill with one of these. Like, because if you're grey zone and you're not exactly moving. Granted, they aren't always the most accurate, so obviously fire a few. You can change the radius, the distance. So that was a miss. Of course, I miss every single shot there. One hit, boom. Instantly, you can cook any tank with the mortars. Like, they are probably one of the best things in the game. I know that people have to be selective. For a free-to-play player, you have to be selective with your squads. But I would say every single one of your squads should have an engineer in it, right? Every single one. So I'll show you my tier 5 loadout. Granted, I've got premium, so I've got all kinds, but I would say one vehicle, so like one tank. If you're in tier 5, it'll probably be Tiger 2. If you're low tier, it'll probably, well, high tier, you'll be Tiger 2, it'll be Persian, it'll be the Hori, stuff like that. But if you're tier 3, I'd say for at least, well, tier 2, I would say for at least Japan, where is it? The Hoai is a very good tank for tier 2. For America, I would say Grant's fairly good. You've at least got the option of a 75. Crusader, yeah, I'd say the Grant, because you've got that 75mm, which can mean if you get up tiered, Grant and Melee are probably your best bets. For tier 2 for Russia, I would probably say one of the T-34s. I don't know. The T-28, or is KB1 in here? Tio's KB1. It's too high. Okay, yeah. So I would say T-28. And then for Germany, I would probably say the Panzer N or the Panzer 4E. Those are your best bets for tier 2. Anything above, I would kind of avoid unless you're, say, at that stage at tier 4. Because tier 4, you can at least compete with tier 5 and you can kill anything in tier 3. So tier 4 is the sweet spot now, because when you're in a tier 4 game, you have a chance of being down tiered into just a tier 3 lobby, but you also like have the chance of being up tiered into a tier 5 lobby. Tier 4 is now the new tier 3 because they changed the battle rating system. So tier 4, you have a chance of being up tiered, but you also have a chance of being down tiered. And if you're down tiered, yeah, you'll be perfectly fine. And then as for, trying to think of anything else, I think that's everything. But they will be tweaking the whole silver economy hopefully soon. They did send it back to revision because there was a huge outroar about what they were going to implement, and I fully agree, because if you're like me and you have a lot of research points for one nation, you kind of don't want them all to go to waste, and that's kind of what they were proposing. You were going to get like a 1% conversion rate. So for 5 million research points, you're only going to get 50,000 silver, which is like nothing, you know? Like, when you play this game, I think most people can agree, 1,000 silver barely equips a squad with, say, anti-tank weapons. Like, it's horrible. And everyone knows that when you upgrade a vehicle, it gets really expensive. Like, if I was to upgrade this, look, 3,000, the next upgrade I think is like 7 or 10,000, and the one after that is like 15. You know, and that's with the upgrades. So, but yeah. They will be introducing veterans boxes at some point, I think 2. Which are basically, so anyone who's missed events, you'll be able to, say, get stuff like this. Troop carriers, that's another thing. So research, I would definitely recommend getting the troop carriers, having one of them in your squads, because say you want to get to the battlefield quick and you want to help your team respawn without having to build a rally point, definitely bring troop carriers, because you're helping your team out as well as yourself. Alright, granted, you're a bigger target, granted you can't always hide these very well, but it's a quick, like, way to get your team pushing a point. Okay, pushing points is the most important thing in the game. Like, I can't stress that enough. So, yeah. But I think that's everything that I can possibly cover. Other than maybe the upgrade system. So obviously it'll highlight what you've unlocked. See how it's got that little flick across. So when you've unlocked it, you can then buy it. So granted, you've got to buy everything before to unlock something new. And once you've unlocked something new, it should highlight every possible upgrade route you can do. So say I get back to the end and it'll give me like research points up here. So if I complete this at the end of the battle, my excess research points that didn't get applied into upgrading that will go up here, and then I can say accelerate research, put them into there, and yeah. Or I can put it into something else, probably something else, because I've just said that unlocked. But yeah, this, say, that will then be highlighted, and that, like everything that I can then start researching will be highlighted, and I can then pick and start researching. So you'll just be like, start research, and I'll start researching that. But if you don't pick anything, it'll automatically start researching one of those when you go into your next game. Okay, so say if you want to start focusing on certain things, focus on that certain thing. See, for me, granted, I played before the merge, so I have some tier 5 stuff and tier 4 stuff for Russia. I'm currently working on just getting anti-tank weapons, because that way, if I want to run infantry, I can still, take out tanks. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, join me in the next video whenever I do one, probably tomorrow maybe. But take care. Adios.